When the year resets, there's a slew of trend reports that come out. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not particularly a trendy person, but I thought I'd give you my version of what's hot and what's not in 2026, the Hormone Health Edition. I'm naturopathic Dr. Hussain, and this is Phase to Phase, the Hormone Health Show. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, and even if I did have one, that's not really how we roll here at Phase to Phase. I'm going to take you through some of the trends that I think we're going to see in 2026, and as I do that, I'm going to talk about the ones I personally really want to see. A girl can try to will those into existence, right? And I'm also going to touch on the ones that I would like to leave behind and never look at again. So let's dive right in. I'm going to start with the comebacks, actually. I want to see a few things come back, and I think we're already seeing some of it come back. Number one, we're going to see a return to prioritizing fiber. So on my feed, I'm already seeing a lot more talk and nuance about fiber. And full disclosure, I'm a vegan, so I see lots of plant-based content, and fiber comes from plants. So I naturally see more fiber content. However, in the last few years, we've really seen this obsession with protein, prioritize protein. And that's come at the expense of fiber, I think, because fiber is categorized under the grouping of carbs as a macronutrient, and people have gone low carb, which means that they've also missed out on fiber. So fiber isn't just about digestion. It decreases the risk of cardiovascular disease like heart attack, stroke, cognitive decline, and certain cancers. And for your hormones, it helps with PCOS, PMS, endometriosis. You need fiber for perimenopause. And like I said, the way you get more fiber is by eating more plants. So if you eat more plants, you automatically increase your fiber regardless of the kind of plant that you're eating. And ideally, we want a diversity because then you'll be getting different kinds of fiber in your day. Most North Americans do not hit the minimum target of around 25 grams per day. That is what we want to, at the very least, achieve, and even beyond, especially if you have heart disease risk factors. And the thing with high fiber diets automatically is that if you're eating more fiber, you're eating more plants, so you're also getting the benefits from all the other nutrients found in plants. Next up, number two, we have a return to calcium. So I feel like we really dropped the ball on calcium in the last few years, especially as the anti-dairy rhetoric got louder in the late 2010s, early 2020s. And I already told you I am vegan, so I don't really do milk that's meant for animal babies. But that doesn't mean that I don't prioritize calcium. By the time you're in your 20s, you've put on most of your bone, and you'll put on a little bit more until your 30s, and then we're going to utilize that. Our lean mass, our bone density is going to decline, and that rate of decline really depends on a lot of factors. And we've highlighted vitamin D beautifully in the last little while, as well as weightlifting and resistance training for our bones, but we've really dropped the ball on calcium, and we need to pick it back up. For most adults, the target is around 1,000 milligrams per day. If you're pregnant, or if you're a teenager, or if you're much older, like in your 70s, your target is actually a little bit different. If you're in Canada or not, Osteoporosis Canada has a calcium calculator that you can use. It's free. It takes a couple of minutes, and it will roughly approximate your daily intake based on your inputs of certain foods. I highly recommend going and doing that. Or if you have a tracker where you track your nutrition anyway, that's also a good place you can extract that data from. But make sure you're getting enough calcium. I'll link that Osteoporosis Canada calculator in the show notes. Number three on the comeback list is unsaturated fats. So I predict, and I honestly hope, and maybe that's hoping against hope, I don't know, that we see less saturated fat everything. Beef tallow, butter, red meat, somewhere along the way, non-scientific and a lot of like alt-right rhetoric. Wellness folk, they have come and talked about how beneficial saturated fat is when it's not. It can increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes, increase the risk of certain cancers, conditions like PCOS, perimenopausal outcomes. saturated fat is not like a health food. It's not. Lowering your red meat consumption actually helps you reduce the risks of the things that I listed and helps you reduce your carbon footprint on the planet. So let's move away from red meat. And as we do that, I'm actively willing into existence less skepticism of seed oils. I'm really tired of people shilling seed oil lies online, calling them like the worst thing ever you can do for your hormones and for your health. They're used with the identifier descriptor inflammatory, and I use that in quotations, that they're inflammatory seed oils. I teach clinicians about heart health. I teach clinicians about PCOS, and time again, and science is getting clearer on this fact, not murkier, that replacing saturated fats like butter with plant-based oils, regardless of whether it's canola, olive, or sunflower, it actually improves heart health outcomes in the long run. I'm actually going to do a full episode on seed oils soon because I'm so tired of patients being scared of a veggie stir fry made with sunflower oil versus being scared of like drinking 5 glasses of wine per week, which poses a high risk for your heart health, cognition, and certain cancers. Next up, I think we're finally going to get back to the foundations of physical activity. We're going to trade in our weighted vests, vibrating plates, and obsessive cycles thinking for like the foundations of physical activity: cardio, lifting heavy things, joyful movement, sitting less, and maybe more community-based movement. There's lots of exercise scientists, trainers, physios, health professionals online already screaming at the top of their lungs against the commodification of literally anything pertaining to exercise while calling for the return to the basics. And I think we're going to see more of that, especially because what we're also going to see, I think, this year is the explosion of apps and gadgets to track us and our activities. And I get it, like data is cool, it's helpful as well. But for most of us average folk, honestly, we just need to get started and get moving regularly. Most women in Canada do not even meet the minimum exercise requirements, which is 150 minutes per week of moderate to rigorous activity spread over a minimum of 3 days, a little bit of lifting, heavy things, and less sedentary time. And right now we are going to also see the pendulum swinging hard toward AI-infused everything. Again, there's a time and place for that, but also we have to keep in mind that there's a race going on in the AI world for who can harvest all the data, capture most of the market share, and be the AI overlord. So be careful out there, okay? And number 5 on the comeback or like trend list is, I think we're gonna see more nuance and health content online. I'm kidding. I don't think we're gonna see that at all. I actually think we're gonna see the opposite. Again, like I am keeping my fingers crossed that we do. Honestly, I think that the nuance will continue to get lost as we divide further and further into polarized camps. Unfortunately, I wish and hope that that's not going to happen, but it's already been happening. And I think we're going to see more of like, quote, nature's Ozempic, unquote, clickbait, and quote, how to eat with your circadian rhythm, unquote. And here's a probiotic for your estrobolome. Science is based on questioning, but social media is based on like certainty, who's loud and who appears to be confident, even if they lack the knowledge and the nuance. And people love that. The messiness of science is just not as sexy. And again, like I don't think the internet's going to be better for that, especially as we also start to get like more AI bots and things like that. Where we are going to see nuance is in science. So in the realm of menopause hormone therapy, like the kinds of people who it's best for. So we're going to see more stratification in that data, as well as I think in GLP-1 receptor agonists in different populations and things like that. That's where we're going to see more nuance, and I'm all for it. I love science. Okay. So we've talked about the things that I think are going to happen. Now I'm going to talk about the things that I wish would go away. And first up, we have this how do I frame it? Can we stop calling all fluid retention cortisol face? That's what I want to wish away. I want us to stop diagnosing ourselves with like cortisol face or cortisol belly or quote inflammation unquote every time we retain water. I get it. It's not fun to retain water. As someone, and I say this as someone who retains water really easily after a salty meal, my rings are tight. But cortisol is essential to life. It's how we wake up in the morning. It's normal for it to fluctuate. It will respond to the goings on in life if you don't sleep well or if there's a lot of stress. And right now there's just so much going on in the world that I think that we're all experiencing nervous system dysregulation, to be honest with you. But also like fluid retention is just part of life. It's like salt intake, not enough potassium, aka not enough fruits and vegetables. It's heat, alcohol, menstrual cycles, hormonal fluctuations, even exercise. We retain water for a variety of reasons. And it could even be a little bit of your age. Like your body responds to the same things you were not responding to in your 20s differently as you get older. So let's call fluid retention what it is. Fluid retention. It's all good. Speaking of salt and water retention, the second wish away trend is unnecessary electrolytes. I think this obsession with electrolytes is just getting a bit out of hand. I've had patients with full-on hypertension or high blood pressure chugging electrolyte sachets that have upward of 500 milligrams of salt for their energy or something like that. And high salt intake will affect blood pressure, and high blood pressure, especially unmanaged blood pressure, puts you at higher risk of heart disease like stroke. So let's not just everyone put salt in our day-to-day lives. A little bit, sure, we need it, but a lot more extra as an electrolyte drink, most of us don't need it. Unless you're an endurance athlete or you've been prescribed some salt for your POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or if you have diarrhea and you need to replenish your electrolytes, by all means, like take the electrolytes. But most of us just need a glass of water and a diversity in our food, and that's it. The other thing that I want to go away is the catch-all term hormone imbalance. It's not a diagnosis. It's a buzzword, a marketing buzzword that has preyed upon women like way too much. Telling someone that they have a hormone imbalance is like telling them that their car is making a noise. Your next question should be like, where is the noise coming from? Is it the engine? Is it the brakes? Is it like a little piece of metal that got loose underneath your car? True story. That happened to me in December and it freaked me out. And then that's all it was. So in 2026, let's get specific. Let's get clarity. Let's get you a diagnosis if that's what's happening. Let's put in more time into resilience so that your response to hormones change, like we see in PMS and stuff like that, is not as volatile. I think there's lots we can do on the realm of, or in the realm of hormonal health and hormonal support, but let's get clarity and let's get specificity versus just like spending our time and resources and money scrolling through social media, TikTok, Instagram, and buying like $500 hormone tests or hormone detoxes to fix something that might simply be a response your body is having to something in your life, or is something else going on that should be addressed appropriately. Okay. And finally, here is the trend that I see coming. And it's one that's already been happening. And it's the one that worries me the most and keeps me up at night. It breaks my heart. And it also keeps me doing the work I'm doing, one person, one blog post, one podcast at a time, which is the increase in health and wealth inequity, which goes hand in hand with everything and affects everything. We're living in a fragmented world with geopolitical strife, with people profiting off the planet and its people. A small percentage of people, right, are profiting. Where I'm in Ontario, we've been seeing a push toward privatization of healthcare and in all sectors, really, for many years. And the truth is, affordable housing is healthcare. Livable wages is healthcare. Food security is healthcare. Climate and environmental protections are healthcare. And we've lost sight of a lot of that in policy for sure. Like I don't know which world they live in, these classist and profiteers of that run our governments. But like we need to build for the people, for the average person. And unfortunately, the onus will and has already fallen on the average person like us. We live in an era of convenience. We can order anything to our door. We protect our, quote, independence, unquote, and our boundaries. But I think we have lost the plot a little bit. We've forgotten that real health and real structural change requires community. It requires taking care of one another. It requires acknowledging our privilege and caring for other people. It requires interdependence, which, let's be honest, is sometimes really inconvenient. Just like any relationship, it requires work. Just like taking care of anything, it requires time and effort and resources. And the hard part, especially if I'm bringing you back to hormonal health, is that women still hold a burden of responsibility here. We're trying to build something better in the face of the patriarchy and classism, while also being unsupported in all areas of health and life. So I'll end this episode with a call to action to please rest. Cultivate joy. Share your wins and your losses. Get some good sleep. Get help for your health. I wrote in my book, the Period Literacy Handbook, that self-advocacy often feels like a heroic act of feminism. And unfortunately, it continues to be. And it sucks that it is this way, but please do it. Because we need to change the trajectory we're on, and we need all of us to feel well in order to do it. And again, like, I don't want to put more responsibility on us, like the people doing a lot of work and raising communities and building communities and trying to change the world. But the unfortunate truth of the day and age we live in, that we need all of us. Real hormonal health includes advocacy. It includes political engagement, including like protests, writing, discussing, learning, making calls to our MPs and MPPs, like doing that kind of work. It includes voting, including like voting with your dollars. Let's be less of like, what's the word? Mindless consumers, and be more conscientious consumers, more conscious consumers. Like, that's the way to go. If possible, try to buy from your local businesses, your small businesses, your businesses run by marginalized populations. Support these people as much as possible. The truth is, we can't biohack our way out of a broken system or a dying planet. And real health is giving a damn about your body, obviously, and the world your body lives in, the world our bodies live in. And that's what I want to see more of in 2026. So there you have it, a small peek inside my brain. It's very chaotic. I'm slightly caffeinated, and there's a mix of heartbreak and hope and cynicism and optimism in there. I'd love a peek into your heart and brain. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think is on the menu for hormonal health or health in general this year? Send me a DM on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or shoot me a message at face2face.ca. And please make sure to subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. Share this episode with friends and family members.